Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock. And in today's episode, we're asking the question, do you control the internet? This is prompted by an article in the Washington Post this week called Dark and Strange Content is Slipping Through Social Media's Cracks by Heather Kelly. And I give you the title of the article because it captures the essence. I mean, the idea here is that increasingly social media companies are struggling to keep dark content from your feed. You might have noticed this. Disturbing content takes a lot of different forms. Graphic violence, including actual and real crimes being perpetrated. Bizarre videos. I mean, there are things with humans nursing animal infants and all kinds of weird things. And then AI-generated stuff, as well as things like surgeries and medical procedures. I mean, the internet is, of course, a dark and scary place on the corners, on the fringes, at least that's what we thought. But increasingly, the corners and fringes are encroaching on our territory. So you might be on Instagram to share pictures of your trips and those kinds of things with friends, but you're seeing content you never thought you would, which also is breaking a myth, because I think what we all think about social media is that I control my content, that if I curate who I follow and what I want to see, I'll only get the internet that I want, which means then, of course, I can ensure for myself a kind of safe bubble that I can exist in within the larger internet. But that isn't true anymore, because overwhelmingly, social media companies like Meta, Instagram, TikTok are struggling to keep out this content, which is troubling for me and for you, but even more troubling for young people. In fact, increasingly, there are court cases where families are saying that their child's pursuit of self-harm or development of an eating disorder actually came from content they stumbled into, or you might even say stumbled into them on their social media feed. The truth is that social media companies are run by algorithms. We all know that. And algorithms reward content that gets clicks. And as much as I hate to admit it, dark and scary content moves the needle. So while social media companies are trying to use filters, their own algorithms are self-defeating. By the way, the court cases I mentioned earlier were children on social media with parental filters in place. That's right. The filters you think are doing the job you've asked them to do aren't working anymore. So where does that leave us? Well, a couple of things from the Bible should inform us here. Number one, we must guard our hearts from dark and scary content. A couple of passages here in the Bible. Proverbs 4 says to guard your heart, for from it flow the springs of life. Philippians 4 says whatever is noble, pure, just, honorable, that's what we should be thinking about. There's a battle for our minds, and that battle is external. Companies looking to put content in front of us that makes us spend frivolously or act frivolously, turning us away from God. But that struggle is internal too. The truth is that dark and strange content hooks into different things in me, whether that is my own sinfulness or my fear and my anxiety. Either way, it is causing me to go down a road that I do not want to go down. Look, Ephesians tells us to be mindful of the fact that we live in a spiritual world. There are spiritual forces seeking to destroy. Nowadays, they don't even have to leave the house to do that. They just make sure we see the wrong content on the internet. Listen, you are responsible for what you doom scroll. You are responsible for the companies whose apps you choose to have on your phone. Are you being careful? And is it worth it anymore? I told you about a year ago, because of this podcast, I deleted my Twitter account because increasingly Twitter was bringing pornography to its users, whether they went looking for it or not. I am not bulletproof, and neither are you. And if you continue to exist in spaces that can get content in front of you that you might not be able to unsee, or that you might not be able to stop thinking about, then you are the one making the choice that puts you or your children at risk. Do you control the internet? No, not in the way you think you do. They control it. The question is, of course, do you trust them with your soul? Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of Wake Up, Look Up. While you're here, take a minute to like and subscribe. It really helps us get the word out. Don't hesitate to leave a review wherever you might find this podcast on an audio level and help spread the word. And hey, while you're here, check out all the other content we have at Christ Community Chapel on YouTube. Some of those videos are popping up on the screen now. Click on one.